the odds that somebody has asked you to go play golf? The important thing in any sport is that you know the rules. What if you schedule a tee time with a group of friends but you don't know all the rules to golf? Most people don't even know what a tee marker is. They don't know which tee marker to pick from. There is more than one. A lot of people don't know that there's multiple hazards while moving down the fairway, and even more hazards once you get to the green. Throughout this speech, I'll be explaining the differences between the tee markers, how to play the fairway, know all the differences between the hazards, and how to play the green to finish out properly. If it weren't for my best friend when I was a little kid, I never would have gotten interested in this sport. He asked me to go play with him one day, and I instantly fell in love with it and immediately had a passion for the game. Many of you sitting in my audience like to play golf. For those of you who play golf, it's important to know the proper rules of the game when playing in a group, and it is even more important to know the proper rules of the game during tournament play. Moving on to the actual rules of the sport, we're going to start with the tee box. It is important to know the difference in your tee markers. There's generally 4 on every tee box. You have a pro, an amateur, a senior citizens, and a ladies tee. A pro tee marker will be the furthest away from the hole. That is for your most advanced golfer. Moving up one from there, you're at an amateur. That would be considered me or any other public figure who just likes to play golf for fun. Moving ahead of that one even closer to the hole, you're at the senior citizens tee box. This is for any person over the age of 60 and gives them even more of an advantage to get closer to the hole. And then finally, in front of that one, you have the ladies' tee box. Women generally cannot hit the ball as far as men, so they get the greatest advantage at being closest to the hole. Once you tee off, you're going to move down into the fairway. There are many hazards that come in the fairway. There's out of bounds, red marked hazards, which could be ditches or anything like that. And then also water hazards could be in the fairway as well. If you are to hit your ball out of bounds, that is going to be a 2-stroke penalty. So if you hit the ball out, that is stroke number 1. You will then have to drop another ball, which will be counted as stroke number 2, and then hit the ball again, which will count as stroke number 3. If you hit the ball out of bounds, it really can add up your score very quickly. The other 2 hazards that come along with the fairway are a ditch or a water hazard. These are only 1-stroke penalties. If you find yourself in the situation of hitting a ball in one of those 2 hazards, you have 2 options. You can drop a ball in the same spot and hit again and take your 1-stroke penalty, or you can drop a ball in the drop zone provided on that hole and hit again and take your 1-stroke penalty. Moving on further from that, you get to the green. As you approach the green, you will notice that there are sand traps around the edges of the green. These are called bunkers. If you hit your ball into a bunker, the only rule that applies is not to ground your club. This means that you cannot put your club head into the sand until you physically hit the ball. Although this is not a proper rule, it is golf etiquette. Once you hit your ball out of a bunker, it is important to take the sand rake and clean your footprints and your divot out of the sand. This is courteous for the next golfer who's coming down the fairway. As you reach the green, it is important to know the etiquette of the green as well as the rules that apply. If playing in a group, it is important to know not to step in the line of putt of another player. This means not to put a footprint in between the hole and another player's ball. This will result in a 1-stroke penalty. Also, as you are putting, it is important to know that the pin must be taken out of the hole. This means that when you all reach the green and you begin to putt, the flag stick must come out of the hole. If your ball touches the flag stick while you are putting, it will result in a 2-stroke penalty. This will really add up your score at the end of the hole. After listening to my speech, you should be able to demonstrate the proper rules of this sport. To reiterate the rules of golf, you should now know the appropriate place to tee your ball, how to properly play the fairway, navigate your way out of a bunker, and how to suitably putt the greens. Now, whether you play once a year or every day, you will be prepared to display the correct ruling of this sport.